Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us at whatever podcast app you're choosing to use, and it's Sunday, 2 p.m., which means we are
live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, YouTube room. How we doing?
Hello, everybody. Hello, all the frogs. Word to the frogs. Hello, all the friends. It's Sunday, October 5th. Spooky season has commenced.
Yeah.
But it's baseball season in our city. Go
yeah,
Jays.
I feel it's still summer here until this baseball season is over for the Blue Jays. It is a glorious 26 degrees, sunny, blue sky today. The Jays are looking to win game 2 of the series against the Yankees. The city is buzzing. We're going to talk to you all about wrestling.
That's right. BJs are better than Yanks. That's what the old saying goes. I think someone once said. Yes, our city is buzzing. It still feels kind of summery out. It's not quite that cold yet. I keep being like, oh, it's fall. Better get the hoodies out. And then I go outside and it's like summer still. So I'm not complaining because
it's glorious. It's beautiful.
Canada, we're known for our cold winters. So right now it's very, very strange of how still very nice it is. So happy fall, happy October, wherever you may be. And I know there's a lot going on. I mean, here in the city, we got the Jays going on, but then football's back. There was Canadian football, if that's even a thing, yesterday. There's so much stuff going on. So whether you're listening on a Sunday night, a Monday morning, welcome and hello, and hit that subscribe to Poisonrana. We do this every week. I know. We've been all over the place this summer with some vacations and everything, but the wrestling never stops. And then for once, it kind of feels like a quiet week, sort of.
As quiet a week as there can be. I mean, we still had a 6th anniversary show. We still had the build to Crown Jewel. We've got Bound for Glory tonight, is it? Or is that next weekend? Next week. Okay, so we got the build to that. Yeah, I'd say it's a relatively quieter week than usual, but still some bits and bobs of news coming out and some good wrestling as well.
Absolutely. We are Poisonrana, but we also work for Post Wrestling, and this upcoming Tuesday there will be the Invasion Showdown, if you will, happening on Tuesday, and we will be live right afterwards. NXT versus TNA, and we're going to talk all about it at 10:05 p.m. with a new episode of Up Next Showdown. So look for us this upcoming Tuesday with all the hype and preview going into that Bound for Glory show, which is next Sunday. So Hardy Boys and the Dudleys one last time is happening in Lowell.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the more attractive TNA cards we've seen, even since the beginning of this kind of NXT crossover. I think this one actually has my attention. There's at least 3 matches on there I am curious to watch. So that's a good thing. And I guess something good coming out of this TNA NXT partnership we got going on.
Absolutely. The first time where it's like, whoa, wait, I kind of want to see what happens there. I think I said you come for Hardys and Dudleys, maybe, but you stay for Javon and Leon Slater, which is definitely the one I think to watch.
Or the other way around.
Yeah, you come for Jeff Hardy, Javon and Leon Slater, and then you stay for
a half comatose Devon Dudley going through a table.
We'll see. Exactly. We'll see how that goes. I'm a little worried about that, but we'll see how that goes. Yes, the wrestling never stops. So there's lots of stuff going on, even on a quiet week. You mentioned the AEW 6th anniversary. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about that. I just finished watching Dynamite and Collision. Plus, we're going to maybe preview. When is Perth? When is Crown Jewel?
I think is it next Saturday at 8 a.m.?
Oh, wow. A Saturday, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view. You know, I'm actually working at Saturday during the day. Maybe try to have it on or something. But 8 a.m. wrestling fans at 8 a.m. Wow, that's crazy.
I'll not be watching that live, but once I am up, have some breakfast and throw it on and probably trim about 70 minutes off the show with commercials. So,
yeah, those shows go 3 hours long, but really the content is about an hour's worth when you watch those. But damn, 8 a.m. So maybe there'll be some other wrestling fans up. And if you are, be sure to say hello in the Poisonrana Facebook group or chat. I know a lot of the frogs out there like to chat it up when the wrestling's on and everything. And whatever social media or podcast app.
The new community group now or something on there?
I don't know. Zuckerberg the lizard man does his own thing. The lizard man doesn't like the frogs, and he's messing up our chats. So to figure out what happens to community chats, I guess you have to wait for Social Network 2 coming out in a year or two. So
is that a thing?
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
what's it just about all his court cases in later life?
I think so.
Right.
I believe so. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's the dude from The Bear who's playing him.
Oh, so it's not Jesse Eisenberg.
No, it's no one from the original one, but except the director, maybe. Yeah.
What? It's Fincher again?
I think so. I kept seeing stuff about this. People being cast for this movie.
The Social Reckoning.
Social Reckoning.
Okay. Explores Facebook's internal practices, spread of false information, impact on teen mental health, and connection to January 6th Capitol events. It's Aaron Sorkin's actually directing it this time. So he wrote the original, but I think it was Fincher directed, and this is actual Aaron Sorkin directing it. Oh, so Jeremy Allen White. So Jeremy Strong is playing Mark Zuckerberg. That's interesting.
That's really interesting.
So like an older,
he's great.
Okay. And then you got Mikey Madison off of winning the Oscar this year for Honora, isn't it as well, with Jeremy Allen White and Bill Burr, fresh off his fat check from working Saudi Arabia. So interesting.
Yeah, Bill Burr took the CM Punk route this year, right?
Yeah,
it's one of the more respected.
That was the one I was disappointed about. When looking through the names, I'm like, and then I'm like, Bill Burr, come on.
We're a little all over the place right now. We're talking about that movie and then now this. But isn't it interesting seeing that backlash when we, as wrestling, like in the wrestling community, wrestling fans, we were going through that like a few years ago, and then again, kind of recently with CM Punk, and then now people like, oh, whoa, all these comedians are going over and playing, making big money to play over there, and it looks like now there's some blowback, but I don't know. I think we've moved on from it. I think we've just normalized it. Once CM Punk did it, I think it's like,
doesn't make it right though. Like it is
doesn't make it right. Absolutely not.
It is commonplace. I think the thing is with, when you've got people like Bill Burr and CM Punk who are very vocal, like politically and politically and socially, and then you see them taking that check. It's a little disappointing. And it does normalize it more and more.
It's been normalized. Like I went through the same thing with Live Golf, which I don't even think is still a thing. I don't know, but like I was going through that with my work, my other job, and that was a big thing. And then at the time I was like, but as a wrestling fan, we've already been through this. And then there's been so many different things that have gone over and done shows and this and that. But this comedy show is definitely attracting so many different people's opinions, other comedians obviously jumping on it. And I think it was like a few years ago, like after the WWE doing it at least once, twice, maybe 3 times. They've done it. I don't even know how many times now gone over there, but I have been a little normalized to it, because if a Bill Burr goes, stands on his high horse and says, sorry, I don't want to go do this show for, an hour worth of work, essentially, for probably one of the biggest checks he'll ever receive. If he doesn't, someone else is. And like, I don't know. I wouldn't say no if someone wanted to hire me for a gig, if it could change my life, change my family's life potentially. But at the same time, the same people who are free speech this, free speech that, kind of does make it a little more messy. So there
is a bit of a difference between, respectfully, you who's earning Patreon money and someone who is, a stand-up comedian who a lot of the things he would normally say in his routine wouldn't be able to say over there. and has been quite vocal against certain practices as well, taking that paycheck, and who is probably living pretty comfortably with or without this paycheck anyway. But
yeah, I mean,
it is interesting. Like, it does tie into like the wrestling stuff, because we have gone through these conversations, and as you said, seeing it on a bit of a broader scale is quite interesting to see.
Like at this point, I'm not shocked that it's happening. I'm surprised it hasn't happened as early as the wrestling stuff, and I'm sure it's going to continue to happen. We've seen it in, I'm not even a big sports guy, but you see it with sports. It's been all over the place with footy players and all sorts of stuff. So I totally get it. Like the one in that list is Bill Burr. That's like, oh, really? Like, it's like, oh, okay. But Chappelle did it like a year or two ago when I got to see him in that intimate show here. The whole reason he did these random little shows is because he was practicing for these Saudi big checks that he was doing. And that was kind of like, oh, interesting. Right. So when the same people were this and that about free speech, it doesn't necessarily go the other way. So I see it from both sides. I completely see it from both sides, because, hey, you're getting paid to make people laugh or entertain people just as you normally do. Maybe some things are off the table, or you're not allowed to say, censorship or that, but you're getting paid like insane amount of money. So I don't know. Like CM Punk, did that not go away after like a month? We all just yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like the blowback.
Oh, he brought his wife back. So.
Exactly. So it's like, are we still mad? Yeah, I don't know. Like, are people...
have you not seen just the news cycle for the last year or so? It's like, hey, look over here. This is happening now. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
Like, I'm wondering, like, were there any CM Punk fans who were like, wow, I'm so butthurt about him doing that I refuse to be a fan anymore? I don't think so. I think people might have been.
I think so.
About.
Yeah, I think people he has
beginning, but
I think it has affected him in some people's eyes for sure.
Yeah, and that's the same with Bill Burr, right? So,
yep,
make that money, I guess.
So we've got a lot going on here. It is October. I'd say it's probably our favorite month on the Patreon. The craziness of the summer starts to wind down, and we like to get a little spooky on our Patreon. And yeah, we've got a lot coming up this month. We're going to be kicking things off this week. We're having Gareth Hodgson from the Grapple podcast. He's going to be joining us to talk all things John Cena in episode 12 of The Champ Is Here. Now, if you know Gareth and you know Grapple, he's a massive CM Punk fan, and he's a massive Bret Hart fan. So we had to do the show where John Cena takes on CM Punk and Alberto Del Rio in a triple threat Hell in a Cell match. But more importantly, John Cena teams with Bret Hart in a tag team match on an episode of Raw. So technically, yes, we are talking CM Punk and Bret Hart on this show.
Wow, perfect timing. We didn't even plan that, but I can't even remember what John Cena's 12th reign is. So we've done a lot of these shows. We've watched. It's not a long reign, so that makes for a fun show. So there's not too much homework to do. But yeah, we've been trying to go through all of John Cena's title wins and reigns, and now we've made it to number 12. And yes, Gareth from Grapple, love the Grapple lads. Shout out to them across the pond. We love them. This is going to be a lot of fun. We haven't done one. This means we've done one with Maddie, done one with Benno. This is going to be JP. No, we need JP.
I've got JP on call. He's got a busy October, but hopefully towards the end of the year we can get him on. I know Bushby, who's in New York right now, he's going to be joining us soon as well, and some other guests. So yes, we are not. Our aim, our plan was to try and finish this show by now. December 13th, I guess. It's been announced, Cena's last match. It's probably going to go on into 2026. So hopefully they can announce Cena for the 2026 Hall of Fame, and then we can tie it up with that maybe. But we're getting there. We're chugging along with this show.
Yeah, we're big John Cena fans, part of the C Nation. So join along. That will be happening this week over on the Poisonrana Patreon. We've just released our Invasion 2001 pay-per-view review in a show we like to call Reviews from the Six, where we went back to 2001. We chatted about this entire show, the Team WWF versus Team WCW/ECW with some epic matches, including Hugh Morris. Is it Canyon?
And Hugh Morris, Canyon, and fuck.
Gun to your head. Who is it?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I can't remember.
Sean Stasiak.
Sean's Meat, of course. The original Meat Madness.
Yeah.
Meat. Sean Stasiak.
Incredibly heated feud that took place between
versus
those Albert, the one Billy Gunn, and Big Show.
Yes, listen to us debate about Billy Gunn. Listen to us talk about Albert being IC champ and so much more. This show is awesome. Obviously, it talks about the invasion, and we go through that whole thing. We do a big what-if game. If it was Team WCW versus WWF, how would we have booked it, et cetera, et cetera. We've done that a few times, but we made for a fun conversation on this review. Plus, Jeff Hardy versus RVD in a hardcore match.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the main event, like big what is it, the inaugural brawl or whatever they call it. Yeah, that was a fun match.
Patrick Earl Hebner. Don't forget
Nick
that.
Patrick Earl Hebner, of course. Yeah, we learned firsthand that refs can't fight. And so much more on this Invasion 01 review. So go check that out. It's on the Patreon right now. That was a ton of fun. And then, yeah, you said we're going to be doing some spooky stuff. If you do have Facebook, search us. There's also a group, Poisonrana. You put up some polls that by Tuesday, we're going to have to end these polls so that we know what we're reviewing and watching. And one of them is a tadpole, if you will, of Halloween Havoc from WCW. You put up a different ones that we haven't reviewed, and then y'all can go vote, and we'll review this one.
Oh boy, this one's close. It's a 3-way tie right now. I'm gonna go through like some of these things. We got Halloween Havoc 89, which is headlined by Ric Flair and Sting taking on Terry Funk and the Great Muta in the Thunderdome. Match.
Amazing match. One of the best. That's a fantastic choice.
Also includes the Road Warriors versus Skyscrapers, Lex Luger versus Flying Brian. Halloween Havoc 1990, headlined by Sting versus Sid Vicious. We also have Doom versus the Four Horsemen of Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. Lex Luger versus Stan Hansen. 1991, 2 out of 3 falls match for the WCW Championship. Lex Luger, Ron Simmons. We've got the Z-Man versus the WCW Phantom, whatever that is, and the Chamber of Horrors match. Abdullah the Butcher, Big Van Vader, Cactus Jack, and the Diamond Stud versus El Gigante, Sting, and the Steiners.
Damn.
1992. Now, this is a lauded Halloween Havoc match.
Okay.
The Coal Miner's Glove match, Jake the Snake Roberts versus Sting, also has Masahiro Chono versus Rick Rude and Ron Simmons versus the Barbarian. Halloween Havoc 94, which is Hogan versus Flair in a steel cage retirement match. Yeah.
Retirement match.
Retirement match, yes.
I wonder which one is going to retire in 1994.
Halloween Havoc 99, Sting versus Goldberg, and DDP versus Ric Flair in a strap match. And then Halloween Havoc 2000, which just sounds awful. Goldberg versus Chronic in a handicap main event.
Oh my
T
God.
versus Scott Steiner, and Sting versus Jarrett. And whatever this is, a DNA First Blood match between Buff Bagwell and David Flair.
Stop it.
So get voting. There's a lot of absolute nonsense there to pick from. Like, it's these reviews, I feel a lot of people just want to pick the most ridiculous. And there's a few we're talking about a Thunderdome match, a Chamber of Horrors match, a DNA First Blood match, and Flair Hogan retirement match. There's a lot ridiculous. Oh, and don't forget the Coal Miner's Glove.
What the fuck is a DNA blood? You have to match the blood to the DNA?
I imagine they're testing who is the father of a child, or it's Russo WCW 2000, and it's David Flair and Buff Bagwell here. So something involving paternity tests, I'm assuming.
This sounds like the plot to One Battle After Another that I just
right.
DNA test. All right, interesting. Go vote, and this month, in a week or so, we'll probably be reviewing one of those WCW Halloween Havoc shows over on our Patreon. You also put up another tadpole for some spooky movies. We couldn't decide which scary movies we've reviewed in our back catalog, like some real classics. Obviously all the Halloweens. We'll be doing Resurrection for free on this feed come Halloween, but we've reviewed Screams, Alien, we've reviewed Terminator, we've reviewed like a lot of retro classic horrors, but there's still so many that we haven't. So you made a little list of some that we haven't looked at.
Yeah, we've got 2 polls here. The first one is horror films celebrating either an anniversary or has a sequel coming out this year. So we have the Rocky Horror Picture Show celebrating 50th anniversary this year. Ju-On, The Curse from 2000 celebrating 25 years. This is the Japanese original version of The Grudge. Hollow Man from 2000 celebrating 25 years. Kevin Bacon. This is a film like we've mentioned in passing for years on this show, and clearly you guys have picked up on this because this is currently leading the poll. We then have The Strangers from 2008, which is having its, I think, 3rd part coming out this Halloween.
This movie always scared me. This one's like pretty grounded. It's just about like...
Well, it's one of the ones that it could happen, right? It's somewhat believable. VHS 2012 with a new one coming out this year. More of an anthology film, like a lot of different films in one.
Found footage kind of thing. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And The Conjuring with the apparent final film coming out this October. We thought we could go and look back at the original one. So you can vote on any of those 6 films. We'll be revealing the results in a few days, as well as classic film poll of just classic horrors we haven't looked at. Frankenstein, Psycho, Rosemary's Baby, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and The Fly are all on this poll. I'd be, to be honest, happy with any of those winning. I'm pretty pumped about any of them, and the poll's close, so get voting.
Frankenstein, so hot right now. You know I love my boy Frank, my favorite monster. It's a tie between Frank Creature and Godzilla of my favorite monsters of all time. But Frankenstein seems so popping right now. We got the theme park down in Orlando in California. Everyone's raving about Frankenstein's castle. Then we got the Del Toro Frankenstein coming out. And then I just saw an ad for what I thought was AI or just a really strange dream, but it turns out it was a real trailer that aired at the theater about, it's called The Bride, where it's Christian Bale playing Frankenstein's monster who creates his bride. This movie sounds like it's made for me. Again, it sounds like it's not a real movie. It's like, hey,
I thought you were going to say he's playing the bride. That would be even more interesting.
I mean, Christian Bale wearing Frankenstein makeup is just ridiculous. And then he's shooting guns. I don't know what it's about, but I'm going to watch it for sure. So the OG Frankenstein, definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. So, but any of those sound like fun. Horror movies make for really fun reviews and great chat. And
we've never done Hitchcock, have we? It's a bit of a blind spot for us. So
true.
Psycho would be interesting as well. Obviously being quite like iconic, but also like, you know, inspiring so many films coming out of that.
Absolutely.
And there's a new show on Ed Gein on Netflix, isn't there? That's just come out, and Psycho being heavily inspired by Ed Gein as well. So that would be a cool one. But yeah, any of them I'm pretty pumped to do.
Absolutely. So Facebook, search Poisonrana, find the page, like the page. There's a group as well as chats and all sorts of things, including these tadpoles, and go vote for the movie you think we should review. And hey, if you haven't given us a chance, patreon.com/Poisonrana, $5 to become a friend, to get a whole month's access, to get all these shows, plus a lot of other retro wrestling and movie reviews that we've done in that back catalog. Buy yourself some shows for the month, buy us a coffee, buy us a beer, and keep the lights on here at Poisonrana. But yeah, what do you want?
I did see we had a new world champ sign up this week as well. So thank you very much for that. And if you are listening, shoot us over your pick. We have been reaching out to our world champion patrons. We are going to be trying to work our way through that. And yeah, thank you, Colm, for, I feel Colm's been a world champ before, but thank you, Colm, for making the leap to world champion family status.
If you're an elite world champion family member patron, you get access to not only pick stuff and join us for a review, but you get access to a show called Behind the BDE, which is a X-rated, triple R rated, behind the paywall podcast that a lot of those shows have content that would probably get us canceled. And you can listen to those shows if you become a family member patron. So
yeah, we can't talk about stuff we talk about on there in Saudi Arabia, you know, like
yeah.
Uncensored.
Exactly. Uncensored. That's the right word. Behind the BDE.
Well, shall we get... Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, no, it's me. I turned you down by accident. There we go.
Why are you turning me down? Turn it up. All right?
Turn it up.
Hit the worm. Let's turn it up, and let's talk about some wrestling from this week.
Let's do it. Kicking things off with AEW 6th anniversary show. Yeah, like it's... we had that great video package on the show. I always love when they do this. And I feel 6 years on now, I definitely have nostalgia for early AEW Dynamite when we were living together in the basement. Yeah. There was a little thing called the pandemic. We'd set up our TV outside and we'd record NXT. We might have a couple of bevies, and then about 2 a.m, we'd sit outside in the summer and watch AEW Dynamite and all the ridiculousness, the Inner Circle and Sting and Cody and all that. I definitely kind of got the warm and fuzzies watching this recap video. And you realize 6 years doesn't sound long, but a lot has happened when you consider like the Punks and Codys have been gone for quite a while now, and they were such a big part of the company. I enjoyed this video they put on.
Absolutely. I really love this video. You know, some shows don't even go 6 years, and then people talk about for the rest of eternity. So it's crazy that this show has already gone 6 years. I mean, it's in the world of wrestling, like this is longer than certain eras or certain people's careers that people talk about from the past and everything. So yeah, a lot has happened in 6 years. And I thought this was a very like positive, not just a pat on the back for themselves, but also like a bit of a thank you. They kept saying like, hey, appreciate you, whether you're new to us or you've been a day one, which me and you have been a before day one for this. Like we've gone to original All Out, All In. We've been watching this kind of grow and build over the past, what feels like 7 years before they really started to launch. But 6 years of Dynamite, I thought this video was really cool. Like they had clips of Brody Lee. They had Kenny Omega winning the title, Hangman as the Marshmallow Man. Oh, one of my underrated moments of Dynamite is that where they were all the Ghostbusters and then he revealed. That was so good. But I would ask, because it showed a clip of what was my match of the year that year, which we were at, the original Grand Slam, Kenny versus Danielson. Is that the best Dynamite to date? Like you had straight 30 minutes of like a classic.
I think there's probably been episodes of Dynamite I've preferred, but that match was awesome. And
best Dynamite match maybe that goes to that.
I think there's been some. I remember when there were just some Dynamites where they were just wild. I think there was one you had like Mike Tyson on commentary, and you had a bunch of debuts, and there was just like absolute like just so much. Like, I feel pacing has calmed down a bit. It used to be really like, this is happening, then this is happening, then this is happening. But there was something I quite liked about the chaotic nature of that. And just like, you'd have some wild 10-man tag match, and then you'd have Miro debut or something like that. And just all this nonsense. I think some of those Dynamites I really enjoyed. And as I said, I am quite nostalgic for that pandemic era. I think in such a miserable time, and wrestling was pretty miserable with these empty arenas. There was something about watching Dynamite on a Wednesday and having, Daly's Place where
the guns.
Okay, it was still pretty much like empty arena, but you had Big Swole and the Guns at ringside, like making it feel something. Red Velvet cheering on, and it gave it as close to watching a regular wrestling show as you could get. And I do feel nostalgic for that. And I think the creativity that came out during that time, you've got to kind of applaud. And there was just some really fun stuff going on back then.
It's weird to be nostalgic of the pandemic, but like you're saying it in the terms of like, at least we had this show. And I mean, AEW Dynamite, it kicked off having only ran for not even a year before the pandemic happened. And like what they had to make some quick decisions. Like, this is a brand new show. If we don't go on the air, just like WWE decided we're going to stay on the air when everywhere else in the world shut down, you didn't have live sports. I thought AEW was way ahead of WWE, the stuff that they were doing during the pandemic. Like they had the better idea. I mean, maybe they shouldn't have had certain people in the crowd and this and that, but compare what you watched during the pandemic to like that embarrassing, I mean, obviously what other choice, but that embarrassing WrestleMania, that embarrassing Titantron Thunderdome era of stuff. Whereas you would watch AEW and it seemed almost like a normal show. Yeah. Like,
and we were going into the ins and outs of like, everyone was learning about this pandemic as it happened. And it's like, should we be having people at ringside? Are these people tested? Like, when they started introducing a bit of audience spread out, like obviously there were those questions around it, but definitely from a viewer's perspective back home, it was it was a breath of fresh air at the time.
And I mean, this was having Dynamite. We haven't had a show go up on TV like wrestling that wasn't WWE, other than like a TNA, in so long. So it felt so new and fresh. And the fact that they were really fighting and going through that pandemic, I don't know. It made, of course, there was probably some bad stuff as there was in anything, but I think there was some positives, and I did love this video showing a lot of the highlights.
I think as well, early AEW, it's less so now, but it was really like the land of misfit toys at one point, and you didn't have quite as many of those WWE people going over. Yes, you had Jericho, you had Cody, but I think Cody, by the time AEW had started, had already reinvented himself from the indies. But there was something about the like lower mid-card talent that would just these random indie guys who would get over. Like the Dark Order was so over at one point. And remember the controversy of the Alan Angels Kenny Omega match. Like, who the fuck is Alan Angels? And why is he going 50-50 with Kenny Omega? And stuff like that. But AEW did allow for that to happen, giving some indie workers roles in Dark and Elevation, who some of them, like a Willow, got themselves incredibly over to this point. And, like your Jurassic Express, who we've just had reunite. Like, I'm thinking of all those like non-WWE acts that really got over, like a lot of the Inner Circle and things like that. It was Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, as Chris in the chat is saying. But yeah, there was something like that. And yes, for the better, they had a Danielson come in and stuff like that. But I definitely do look back fondly at those early Dynamites.
Yeah, 6 years. It's blown by, and just think back of all the different times we've talked about different eras or things in wrestling that weren't even 6 years long or stuff like that is still talked about. So kudos to them, and cool that they did the 6-year anniversary. We got the title Tuesday next week going up against this Invasion. So more wrestling.
This showdown. Showdown.
It's a
friendly showdown between two
showdown.
Equal wrestling companies.
Yes. Showdown and Title Tuesday going up against each other this Tuesday. And now they've announced it's a 2.5 hour long show again.
For Dynamite?
Like this. Yeah. So they got the like overrun, I guess, there. So
well, shall we start with I'd say the biggest news coming out of this show this week, which is we have a main event for WrestleDream with Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page going to be going at it for the title. What were your thoughts of how this kind of a little bit out of nowhere, but I really loved what they did to like heat this up in the space of an episode.
Yeah. Okay. So like on paper, if you're listening to a review or you read the results or I don't know, Twitter or listen to a podcast like us, it's like, okay, how did this happen? Well, Hangman went to give him his title and then dropped it. And Joe was like, yo, you dropped my trios title and like, fuck you, you're disrespectful. And then getting a bit of a war of words and then a pull apart. But really, there's like a whole lot more. Like there's so much story there. And I'm actually so happy they went with this direction. They've done it with Joe a few times in the last few years. We're like out of nowhere, Joe is now going for the title and then ultimately ended up winning the title, right? So like that was pretty cool that they did it this way, because Joe is such a good actor.
Oh yeah.
That the fact that I'm almost looking down at my phone when this part of the show is happening, because like the match has ended and Hangman hands him the title and then it drops. And that's when my eyes went back to the screen, like, oh, what happened there? That was weird. And then Joe kind of mouthing off. And it's like, is this part of the show? Is this part of the script? And Joe is just so good and also so terrifying that instantly, right as he picked up that title and started mouthing off and then said, "You never beat me," I was like, oh, wait, they're going with that? Okay, wait a second. And then it made me go, yeah, drop all this trios nonsense or whatever you're doing with the ops or whatever. Like, yeah, go to this. So Hangman's promo after, like, putting the fuel into the fire of like, oh, you're saying you never beat me? Yeah, well, how about we have a match and we prove it? Because Hangman lost to Joe in that triple threat. We were there in North Carolina. So it does have some story there of like, hey, I was champion and I did beat you and somehow you became champion and I never got my opportunity. So there's a few weaving ins and outs here that I think was really great. But I got to applaud both Joe and Hangman in these segments.
What I loved about this is, in other hands, I think we'd be complaining about this and be like, this is ridiculous. This is out of nowhere. What? He drops the title and now that's the main event? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But these two are both of them are so believable. They're so real as their characters. And it just reminded me, like, I work in a bar. I see fights kick off over absolutely nothing. You know, someone thinks they're looking at them when they're not. They're just like zoning out into space. Or, you know, like sometimes it's little things build up. Look, we've been roommates with each other. When you're with someone a lot, you'll get into like little spats here and there. And it's always little things, but it's like an accumulation of little petty things where finally that's the final straw. And you watch this match and, you know, there's a couple of times where like Paige takes the tag or tags in, sorry, was it Hobbs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tags in Hobbs instead. And you could just see like, and Joe's so great at the subtleties, but you just see him getting a little bit like annoyed about it throughout the match. And then you have the thing with the title. And he doesn't just go to 100 right away. He kind of tries to let it go. And then you just see him seething and boiling over. And then he's like, no, fuck this. I thought it was so well done. And similarly, what I loved is like the promo with Hangman later, where he's clear, like all the stuff he did, you know, the stealing the tags, the dropping the title, was so accidental in his mind that he's not even aware he did it. So when he starts the promo where he's basically like, I'm so fucking confused what's happened right now. Like, what is this? It did remind me a little bit of the workers' rights promo where Punk is like, I don't know why you're so worked up right now, was like the first line he said. But I got that sense where he's like, yeah, he's a fighting champion. This is over nothing. This is fucking ridiculous, but you want to go? Let's go. And if you talk to me that way again, I'll end you. I thought it was great. And just for like 2 hours of TV to get a match that a week ago we probably didn't really even see happening.
Yeah.
I think was awesome.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great little like swerve, a little segue here that I didn't expect. I don't expect Samoa Joe to win, obviously, the world title from Hangman, but I think we're in store for, I mean, this is in a few weeks, but in store for some great back and forth between the two. But I don't know. I think of all the different ways over the years of wrestling where a little tiny thing is then splintered into a feud or an epic like rivalry. And yeah, okay, how did this start? Well, it started with him dropping his title, but it didn't actually, because then Joe reminded, you never beat me. And then that cracks at Hangman like, oh wait, you're calling back to a year or so ago when you put me to sleep and you got the title and this and that. But it's like, okay, fine. Then we will. And I wonder if we get I wonder if it's done purposely, like what you just said, the workers' rights thing. I wonder if they're going to try to weave something like obviously the history with Joe and Punk and Hangman and now here with Joe. I wonder if there'll be some sort of reference or mention, but Joe saying, "You've never beaten me, and no matter what you do in your career, you'll never have as big as an impact as I have," or something like that.
I think they're just two really capable people that, it's only 2 weeks to build this thing, and just give them a mic for the next couple of weeks. These guys are they're just they're so safe. You can just trust them. Like Chris in the chat saying Joe is a break glass in case of emergency kind of person. And it's true, because whatever you give him, he's going to knock it out of the park. And actually, stylistically, yes, we did see them in the triple threat. A singles match between these two doesn't really come to my mind. It might have happened, but I can't really think of it. But stylistically, I think this sounds really interesting because they're both, hard hitters. I'm trying to picture if Hangman could do a Deadeye on Samoa Joe, that kind of thing. I'm kind of intrigued about. And yeah, I'd say the one issue is I don't think there's much believability in Joe winning. And I think that's one of the difficulties with this Hangman reign. At least when you have a heel as champ, like you can really root for the babyface going up against them. Whereas here, Hangman with your big names currently out of action, you do have to try and find these other options. And I think right now we're seeing, we had with Cody's reign, right, where you see they're just prolonging this until we get the real challengers in a few months once the reign is a little bit more established. But as far as a guy to go with, I think this is a great move.
This should be an awesome match, and it definitely intrigues me of just what could they physically do. Obviously, Joe, a lot older, maybe not necessarily the twilight of his career, but a lot later. But he still had an awesome run in AEW. But I want to see a hard hitting match here. I want to see them bring it to each other, and hopefully in the next few weeks we can get to that level. But so far off week one of setting this up, I am so invested. But I definitely give credit to Samoa Joe and Hangman Page are two of the better actors in the world of wrestling. Many people can learn how to do the Canadian destroyers and athletic power moves and stuff, but to actually have a character and be able to express yourself and connect with people is a real big thing. And I mean, Samoa Joe's been connecting with an audience for over 20 years in the world of wrestling, but both of them are solid actors. And Joe, again, here I am, the trios match ends and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the title drops. It's like, oh, well, that was weird. And then it just completely got me into this. So I thought that was such a good move by them.
As simple as this is, it's so much more believable than other feuds we've had set up,
shampoo commercials.
Well, or some serious feuds we've had, turning on someone by stabbing them in the head with a screwdriver. I'm this makes more sense. You see it in sports where teammates clash because they're just getting at each other, and then suddenly in training they blow up and start a fight. This is actually more realistic of the way that fights tend to start. You bump into someone and they knock their drink into them and you don't even realize. And then suddenly they're like, motherfucker, you spilt my drink. Let's go. And you're like, whoa, I was just trying to get to the toilet. I'm sorry. This is more realistic than, we're kicking you out the family. You're turning your back on the family.
It's just hey, what? Okay, how did this happen? Well, Hangman went to give Joe his trios title and it fell. And then that pissed Joe off. So Joe said, hey, you never beat me. And then that pissed, it's a battle of the egos here of these two. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this match looks like. I'm hoping it's violent is what I want from this one. So let's go to it, kill each other for our entertainment. But yeah, that is officially the main event of WrestleDream, which is in a few weeks, a Saturday pay-per-view on October 18th in a few weeks. So yeah, I don't know if I'm working. If I'm not, maybe
I'm at a wedding that day. So,
okay. Yeah. Nice.
So
trying to watch it.
Yeah, maybe we'll work it out. Day. But yeah, next day at some point.
Yeah.
Other news coming out of the show, well, we knew he left WWE a few weeks ago, and we were discussing where do you think Andrade is going to wind up? Well, it's in the Don Callis family.
Definitely didn't see this coming. I didn't see this coming so soon. I think he could have definitely had a place for an AEW, but this quickly, I think, is a great move for not only Andrade, because where the fuck else are you going to go, but also for Tony Khan, for AEW to be like, yeah, it's all right. You can come home. And since seeing some social media stuff from Andrade, basically calling out Meltzer, saying, hey, a lot of the stuff you've reported about me is wrong. And the day I left AEW, I made sure to have a conversation with Tony Khan saying thank you and that I appreciated everything and my time in AEW. So it looks like Andrade kept the bridge open.
I remember going into that Continental Classic, we all kind of thought he was on his way out after. Now, for him to be booked in that Continental Classic, pick up some wins, I think that was some of the more memorable matches he had in his first stint in AEW. And I remember at one of the presses, Tony Khan speaking quite highly about him. I think, didn't Jade leave similar time? And I think he was questioned about both and was very complimentary. So it seems like that door was maybe open. And Andrade, it had I feel a lot of his career, it's the Andrade returns vignette that we see. And certainly his last WWE stint was a lot of that. Didn't really have much memorable, the Rumble debut and then the tag match at WrestleMania, which wasn't a whole lot, and the Carmelo series. And I guess that's really kind of it that comes to my mind.
Yeah. I think bringing him in this way is right away saying, hey, at least we have something for you here. I would imagine WrestleDream is Andrade versus Kenny Omega.
Yep.
If you had him attack him here, right? Like that's
good way to bring him in, like a big match, a big sort of important feeling match rather than just.
Out the gate that we never got this match. Like the fact that
got it in AAA, right?
We got it in AAA, yeah, with Ric Flair, right?
Which was a lot of AAA bullshit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And like I feel like this time around, maybe they'll just have more focus on him a little bit. Right away, debuting him like this is a big spot, and putting him in this Don Callis family is equally as hilarious as it is, cool to see. Like, all right, this guy's back, and they're gonna maybe have some focus on him. He feels like his career has been so topsy-turvy in the last few years, even before going back to WWE. So here he is, and I would imagine he beats Kenny Omega at WrestleDream, putting Kenny. It has the same. It's like every Monday night on Raw, it seems like they're either promoting the return of Roman Reigns or Roman Reigns returns. I feel like it's the same thing in AEW. It's Kenny returns, Kenny gets attacked, and Kenny returns. It's like there's like this cycle of that. But I think at WrestleDream, Andrade should like beat Kenny.
I think
whether
so.
It's like by evil means or whatever. But then like if Kenny is going away, like go away for a little bit.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think we've seen a couple of times, like with the Ricky Saints coming over, like a few people who've come over from AEW to WWE, and they seem to have treated them quite well to start with, to be like, hey, like, this is an option for you. You can come here. We will look after you. Yeah. Ricky Saints, like, winning the North American title pretty much right away, and now NXT champion. This isn't during a long space of time.
Right.
And I think AEW needs to show the kind of same thing with returning people. It's like, hey, look, the door is still open. Unless you've, really pissed us off. Like, we get it. It's business. You're, especially in the case of Andrade, like, hey, I'd kind of like to go and work with my wife, maybe. And that's not the case anymore. So I think him coming over and not being just buried on return, to be like, this shows you for leaving us in the first place. But
yeah,
big win against Kenny Omega, and be in that like upper mid card mix. If Takeshita eventually leaves the family, a Takeshita Andrade feud, that kind of thing, I think's good.
Absolutely.
And the reports coming out this week, Kenny probably will never be 100% and is working through a lot of pain. They know those reports are out there. They've been writing it into the story with his intestines and all that. So I think you can have Andrade win this, and wouldn't necessarily. If anything, it would help Kenny, because now Kenny's got this redemption story where he's, despite all the injuries and stuff he's gone through, he's trying to claw himself back up to the top of the card and be the best bout machine again.
And you know what? I think it kind of works with every time he comes back, the crowd are more like, wow, look, he's at this show, because he wasn't in Toronto on a pay-per-view, but then he's announced for the 6-year anniversary. And you know me, Kenny's my guy, but even me, I'm like, hey man, like, should you not like heal? Should you not like don't need to do this if you can't right now. I would much rather you as a human being to another be like, hey, take care of yourself before you can go out there and entertain us, but by hurting yourself. And then he shows up on Dynamite, and again, even me being a big Kenny fan, I'm like, all right, he's in a 6-man tag, he'll be hidden, whatever, this and that. No, he's just out there fucking going. He's killing himself. He's killing everyone out there. And I'm like, oh, wow, he's back. And then he gets hurt, attacked again. And then it's like, okay, wait, are they going to go to the pay-per-view match with Andrade? Because I would really love to see it. But then after that, like, dude, if you're hurting, you need to take that time off. But I know people want to see him. He's missed right now because not only is he away, Swerve away, Ospreay away, I guess, like, hey, why don't we? I guess he wanted to be on that show, and it makes sense for him to be. But it felt like a really cool moment with Andrade. Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming with him.
No, and I think that's what's great is because there weren't those rumors. I think we were saying, or was it Boris I did the show with? We were thinking New Japan perhaps as his destination,
right?
Like a company that is in desperate need of some fresh top card talent. We didn't necessarily see this being the case, but I like it. And let's see how this run goes. Hopefully he doesn't just, have the big match and then like when he came in last time, what was it? The big match with Cody, a little series with him, and then disappears and then comes back for something with Davie briefly and then disappears. Let's try and have him a bit more consistent, and maybe as much of a joke this size of the Don Callis family is, having a mouthpiece will help.
That's also the case. Like, not only was I laughing at, oh wow, Andrade is back, and wow, they put him on TV, but the fact that Don Callis gets in the ring with him with the giant grin, and then revealing that Andrade is back in AEW and is now part of the Don Callis family, and then on top of that, they later add Arez, El Clone joining. So, like, these motherfuckers are bigger than the NWO. I mean, Don Callis is basically wrestling's Nick Cannon. Like, the Don Callis family got more members than Nick Cannon's got kids at this point. This is crazy. How many people are in this thing? It's so funny.
So, let's maybe talk a bit. You mentioned him, but El Clone joining... Fuck, the Don Callis family. This was definitely a low light for me on the show. I thought this was pretty poorly done. Now, obviously, with the injury of Hologram, they had to go a bit of a different way with this. But I hated the whole presentation here. The Tony Schiavone and Excalibur being like, oh, I don't know what's happening here. Oh, that is clearly a hologram who we just told you is very seriously injured. That is clearly hologram coming back, and not this El Clone character that we've been showing in vignettes the last few weeks. The flashing lights, the stupid black sleeves he had on underneath to try and cover up who he actually was. I didn't like this.
Yeah, it's weird that AEW, usually they don't like to play stupid as much, like as WWE, like they don't necessarily try to insult your intelligence as often. So I think it was a bit jarring to have Excalibur. It was very TNA. It was very Don West reading the script. Oh, look, it's hologram. I can't believe he's doing this. Wow, hologram. Why? When, like, I can tell you right away watching, it's not hologram. It looks like some dude in a hologram mask. So, like, how the fuck? Like, it's rare that they tried. Yeah.
yes, this injury came, but when it was like a month or so ago that they knew they were doing this story, the evil clone of Hologram. Have Hologram start wrestling in that sleeved outfit when you first decide to come up with this story, because Arez, who our Demand Lucha champion here in Toronto, he's fantastic. He's
incredibly gifted wrestler. Like, cannot
really
wait
good.
to like once it connects, like this guy should be getting over with an audience. He's a fantastic wrestler. Yeah.
But he's got these tattoos, which they need to cover up to kind of do this story. Have the real Hologram wear this sleeved outfit for a few weeks, because here you just go, you've literally just told us during the match, yeah, unfortunately, Hologram, the match with Kyle Fletcher is off. He's very seriously injured. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Oh, look, there's Hologram here to help his friends. No, he's having surgery. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But like, if you sort of played that down and had Hologram wrestling in the sleeves the last few weeks, you maybe have that like hint of being, oh, I don't know. But here you're going, oh, that's the clone. Why is he wearing a completely different outfit?
Yeah. Okay. So like, I didn't necessarily like this, but I think it was because obviously their plans got a bit of a monkey wrench through in there. So like, I think the plan was for Hologram to beat Kyle Fletcher, and then the clone attack him, or the clone cost Hologram the win.
I'd have thought the clone costs him. And then they spin off into a feud. I couldn't see Kyle Fletcher dropping the TNT title, and also with the Don Callis connection, that would have made sense.
It's really unfortunate, because at this point, if Hologram is out for 3 months plus, the clone thing kind of silly on its own. Yeah. So like, you almost just want this guy to be his own dude, and instead now he's going to act like a clone, and there's going to be so much. So like Kane and Undertaker, it's not like you're going to have a whole lot of people being like, but why? How does that make sense? Who is this guy? Why does he have tattoos if he's a clone? He's really just the dark version. He's the evil twin of Hologram here. It's a shame, because Hologram is so silly, but then when you watch him, he's kind of infectious, where you become a fan of him, even if you think the gimmick or whatever is silly. But I think they went with this storyline, and it's kind of silly as well, but two lucha guys who are awesome. It could have been really cool. It could have been really rad. And it is a bit of a bummer. And I didn't love the way they did that on Dynamite. It's very rare, like I said, to have Excalibur playing dumb. It came across jarring to me. So I didn't like that, when clearly, night as day, this guy is coming out there who is not Hologram. So it's like, very strange.
It's hard to keep things secret, like the injury and stuff. But if you were able to keep that on the DL, and have this guy come in as Hologram for a few weeks, even have the match against Kyle, finger poke or doom it, and that's the reveal or something.
I guess the tattoos would have revealed that it wasn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you change the outfit a while ago, you can cover that up. But
so I don't know where they could go to fix this, because they're in a weird pickle, because now it's just this guy who's got tattoos and wears red pretending to be the evil clone of Hologram. So either you like fight through it and go continue on, and when Hologram does in fact come back, you have that final like rivalry feud, a few matches or whatever. But until then, it's very weird that the Don Callis family not only got Andrade, but now this other evil clone. It doesn't really make sense. But again, me and you have watched this guy Arez wrestle live quite a handful of times, and he is awesome. So if you were to put this guy in the mix with some of the other wrestlers on the AEW roster, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. So definitely looking forward to seeing him wrestle. But him doing that Hologram H to the side thing is already worn thin, and it was his debut. So
yeah. I liked the match that he debuted in, though. I thought Orange versus Kyle was very good. I'm really glad Orange is back. He is someone you can have at the top of the card, break glass in an emergency, again, kind of wrestler. So I'm really happy Orange is back. Kyle Fletcher's he's got to be on people's shortlist for Wrestler of the Year this year, because I think all the stuff he's been putting out has been pretty exceptional.
Yeah, I need a juicy feud for him to get into now. Like coming off the Hangman loss, I need a bit of a serious feud with him and someone that we can a big TNT title match at WrestleDream or something, a nice juicy rivalry, because the rest of the story here with the Don Callis family is now we got Holograms, Clone, now we got Andrade who beat up Kenny. You still have Okada and Takeshita, and I think the story is leaning to that eventual singles match with Okada and Takeshita, which Prayer Circle is at Full Gear, but it could very well happen at WrestleDream. But I don't know if that's the case. But
soon, right now, like if you didn't cut like an angle this week, like it seems soon to be doing it.
So they did announce that this Tuesday is Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita, which pausing for a sec, that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's a double eliminator match, which I like the idea of this. So if Takeshita and Okada win, then they get a tag title match at WrestleDream. But if Bandito or Brody pin any of those two, they get a title match. I foresee Takeshita getting pinned by Bandito or Brody. Therefore, they get the match with Okada at thing. He retains, but he's like, "Oh, Takeshita, you're the reason I had to have this match or something," prolonging their singles match till Full Gear.
So you think Brodito win and have a triple threat?
Would you put the rematch at WrestleDream?
I do the rematch at WrestleDream,
really? And then the breakup there.
You know, do the breakup there as the tag team,
okay,
and then which will give us the match at Full Gear if we're going that way.
Yeah.
It's also
book it.
Is that potentially a Tokyo Dome match?
That's what I was saying a few weeks ago, and then I got a few people messaging after I said that, like, you're crazy, and Okada would never work New Japan again. He already said goodbye, and I'm like, yeah, but there's this thing called money. I
do think Okada's going to be on that show.
Really? Oh, I thought you also said that.
I think I'm coming round on it. But maybe Tanahashi last match. Like Tana said he's ending on a singles match. He's not doing the tag thing that like Liger and people in the past have done.
It's Nakamura or Okada.
Yeah, and Okada's there's a lot of things you got to get through to get Nakamura there with WWE and stuff. So I could see Okada on that show. But yeah, I don't know if maybe you don't know what kind of deals are going on. It's like you get this match, we get this match. Maybe you have Okada Takeshita at both Full Gear and the Tokyo Dome.
I would love to see this match. Like, I'm still buzzing off that triple threat from All Out in Toronto, but the singles match needs to happen, and it will feed the wrestling world. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And like, again, we're going down for Full Gear. I'm like, yeah, please happen in Newark, because I want to be there live for that one. I love Takeshita, been loving Okada, but I wouldn't imagine we just get one match out of these. I would imagine it's a bit of a rivalry or a feud there. So really, really into this. The story of Takeshita, he's eventually going to have to leave the Don Callis family. And I think you're right. Like, if you do the tag match where Okada and Takeshita win on Tuesday, then they rematch it at WrestleDream. Somehow something happens where Brodito retain, but then either Takeshita or Okada, the levee breaks there, and Takeshita walks out on the family or this and that or whatnot. But yeah, I'm totally into that. I forgot that Takeshita still has to do stuff for New Japan and this and that, but he's challenging Zach for the belt before the Tokyo Dome show, which is weird. But
we also had Mark Briscoe cutting a promo saying he's got to reflect on a few things. Kind of saying, look, I had this big win against MJF, and then I've been in the conglomeration just goofing around. But trust me, I'm still a serious threat, and I've had a big win. What do you see for Mark Briscoe moving forward?
Have we done Briscoe and Fletcher, like the TNT? He could go for that.
We did that a few times. We had the ambulance match and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, was that Ricochet? I can't remember.
Ricochet.
Yeah.
But he could go after Okada for that title as well before the Takeshita match. But I'm not sure.
Do you think he's done with MJF?
I think so right now. And then when we do have like an MJF return in a few months or whatnot, like we could circle back to it. But
because I wonder if you do like with the contract on the line.
Yeah.
You know, like Briscoe, like is basically challenging him to be number one contender or something like that.
It would be interesting if MJF ever became champion again, where Briscoe could be like, "Hey, remember Toronto? Remember when I beat you?" And you could like go back to that. I'm not saying I love Mark Briscoe, but I'm not saying I need to see him as world champion. But we could definitely flirt. We could definitely flirt with that a little bit.
I think that there's a time where you could, like, with the right person as champion, like you could get that like Sami Zayn challenging Roman Reigns kind of like buzz behind him. He's someone people want to get behind.
Absolutely.
It's just difficult. Like there's only, I think that's one of the good things about having like one world champion. It makes it way more prestigious, and it makes someone like a Mark Briscoe where you'd love to see it, but it's like, yes, but there's all these other guys as well. So it should be a limited amount of people that make it to that level. But I think with the right heel, you can absolutely have him as a big challenger.
Yeah, I would like to see that down the line, but I don't know what we do with him right now because he beat Max, and then now it's like, oh, what do you do? But I like the promo as well. I've been loving Mark Briscoe in AEW, man. Like,
oh, he's been fantastic.
You just feel for him, but then you watch his performances, and every week he goes out there and puts on a show for no matter who's in the audience and who's watching. So you gotta love that. Dem boys forever.
Yeah. We also have Tony Storm versus Chris Statlander set for WrestleDream.
Yeah, I mean, this makes the most sense, right? Like watching Dynamite and Tony comes out, has the match with Tay. Shout out Tay. But then you think, like, wouldn't it just make sense for the champion to have a one-on-one? And that's basically what she says right away. Like, I don't know who I am without the title, and you never beat me one-on-one, so how about we do that? And that makes complete sense. To me, we're getting the classic "can they coexist" kind of thing with the Toxic Sisters. What are they? The Toxic Attraction?
The Triangle
Toxic?
Triangle Girls.
Triangle Girls.
Triangle of Madness. Weird.
Triangle of Madness, them beefing, and we got Tony and Stat and Harley and all that teaming up next week. But Statlander versus Tony Storm should be really good one-on-one. Tony Storm has had one hell of a year. In fact, women's wrestling has been great, and I think the two leaders of it this year have been Tony Storm and Io Sky, and it's going to be a tough one at the end of the year picking who I think has had a better run, because I think Tony and Io have just been running women's wrestling this year for me. So really looking forward to this.
I'm sure we've seen it, but it feels fresh, these two. Right?
No, I mean, this is Tony in her final form, and Statlander, like, winning the title. Someone in the chat, Chris Jones, saying, is Statlander an alien again? And that's definitely some questions. I loved her when she was an alien, and now she's world champion. I don't know if she needs to lean into that alien stuff as much. She did the boot, right, she has like some Star Trek stuff on her face and everything. So I like having little tie-ins to the alien stuff, because that's definitely what her character is. But look, I'm a stat daddy. You got me a Statlander cameo a few years ago for my birthday, where she's like, "Oh, I heard you're an alien." I've been a fan, but now that she's made it to world champion, she's kind of like this cookie cutter alien baby face. And the promo I watched, was it Dynamite or Collision? I'm like, what? Where's the Statlander of that would like rip someone's head off? You're now a champion, and that she's acting a little goofy. So I'm wondering if there's still that heel turn to come. Am I crazy?
No, I actually think it might be better to do that, because I think it opens up then the Willow story and the Harley Cameron story.
Yes,
right.
That's exactly where I'm going, because you have the stuff where
would you have done the angle just a week ago where she's turning them down and attacking them and flipping them off, running through the crowd? Like, I don't know, but I think Statlander winning by cheating against Storm, run it back at full gear, maybe, make it a lights out, no DQ, that kind of style match between the two. You can then do the the Harley match, not necessarily on pay-per-view, but like a big Dynamite, and then the Willow feud again.
Well, they're going back to Australia, so you got to do the Harley match,
right,
in Australia, whenever that is. But yeah, I want maybe she beats Tony within, you know, a hair or an accidental way of cheating. I don't know, somehow, some way she makes it out and is like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Then they got a rematch, and I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure, but I think I want Statlander as the heel. I think she'd be a bit more interesting. Like, all my favorite aliens are not really nice aliens, you know. I don't really like E.T. I don't really like Alf. You know, I can talk about Alf and my hatred of him. I like, you know, the Xenomorphs and the Predators, and like I want the evil alien, you know.
What about Paul?
Paul, you know, I don't think I've ever actually fully watched Paul.
Oh, it's hands down the greatest alien movie.
Yeah, you've said this a few times, but
it's fantastic.
Yeah, she'll be more of Paul. Is Paul like a tweener alien, like a baby face, or a heel alien?
He's kind of like Roger from American Dad. Just yeah.
Not my favorite alien, but
you don't like Roger?
Not my least favorite alien.
Roger's okay.
Roger's all right. But yeah. I want Chris Statlander to be my number one alien again, and I think she needs to get a little nasty with it. So we'll see.
And then next week it was announced we're going to have Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against a local, a Florida resident. Any idea who this could be? I feel Florida resident could be a lot of wrestlers, but
a lot of former WWE talent is what that means. I don't know.
Anyone come to mind?
I didn't even think about this, actually. I don't know who has been let go from WWE in the past little while. That's a Florida local.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I know that Mercedes has been announced for an indie fed in Winnipeg, and she'll be taking on Jody Threat for the Winnipeg Wrestling Championship, which is awesome. For also shout out Jody Threat.
Has she got a Canadian title at the moment?
No, so this would be her first one. So
and that'll be 10th?
Yeah, I think that'll be 10. Chris Jones in the chat saying, please let it be Izzy. That would be gold. Oh my God. Completely forgot about that. Great call. She's down. She's been practicing wrestling. She's been training. The history there with Mercedes. That would be pretty funny. Cool. That would be very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. No one's particularly coming to my mind, but yeah, that would work. That would absolutely work.
They've been promoting Saraya, not Saraya, but we saw her in NXT. The Sailor Moon character.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
not like
I don't
sorry,
think she's from Florida. But
no. I mean, she lived in Florida. She was a local.
I mean, that's the thing. Is it like living in Florida? Like, you could get away.
It's not Saraya, but I want to see that match. Is what I'm.
Yeah.
What I'm
absolutely. Yeah.
Down the line, but yeah. I don't know.
Anything else from Dynamite this week that caught your eye?
Yeah. We talked about Statlander, but I knew she wasn't going to join the Death Riders when obviously she flipped them off. But I also knew she wasn't going to join the Death Riders when she was absolutely killing them in that main event where she threw Marina Shafir's feet into the thumbtacks. Oh my God. What a brutal. Oh, that was disgusting. We
had this in the, what was it? John Moxley, Joey Janela from Fighter Fest, right at the beginning of AEW.
The tacks in the feet, man. That is so nasty. But yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy. I mentioned the 6-man tag that opened the show with Kenny and Brodito versus the Bucks and Alexander. I thought that was my favorite match on the show. The bit, it was so PWG DDT here with the Macarena thing. It kept getting broken up, and then finally them doing it. I thought that was great.
You know, so many people online were just losing their mind at that.
Like hating it.
Oh yeah,
that's probably why I love it so much more.
And I love at this point, you know, that's why they're doing it. Kenny's like, yeah, I'll do a Macarena.
I'm pretty sure the whole beginning of AEW is just them fucking
doing a Macarena.
How far we can get silly shit forward. But yeah, no, I thought that was awesome. Bandito, I've heard had yet another banger with Hechicero, and I saw some clips from the arena in Mexico for some of these shows, like Bandito, Hechicero, like some of these guys are getting really over down in Mexico with CMLL, and I saw CMLL do that Pokemon show, which I saw some clips of. Like, that is fucking awesome. So Andrade, water under the bridge, get your ass down to Arena Mexico. You could be king down there. Like, he could be the fucking guy down in CMLL. And I guess that's some of the ways he made some moves coming back over to safe AEW waters. But yeah, I thought Dynamite was really fun.
I was disappointed with how the Bucks lost their money, to be honest. I thought, but we said it was going to be a Del Boy kind of situation. It was. I thought it might be a bit more like, you know, storyline driven rather than just spunking it away at the casino. I thought it might like be tied into a match or something like that. But in general, I've been quite enjoying this story with the Young Bucks.
So so it's Nick that gambled it all away. So then they lost it again. So the continued story of the broke Bucks will go on. I wonder where we go with them. Like, do we eventually put them back in the tag title picture, or just how far can you stretch this being broke storyline? They're not part of the Don Callis family, right? So they're not making that big.
They're
bucks.
kind of aligned. They're not official members, but aligned. Yeah. Chris Jones bringing up that Bandito suffered a shoulder injury during that match as well.
Yeah, but then today Tony
wanting to fight at Tuesday.
So I don't know, like, Tony Khan now on social media being like, no, he wants to have this match, so it will happen. So this guy's had one hell of a career, man. Like, I know Lucha being super popular 2025, like not just WWE with Worlds Collide and AAA, but I finally checked out the anniversary show, MJF versus Mystico. I don't know if you've watched it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. One of the best matches of the year, hands down. It's from the entrances, presentation to the finish. Like, I just thought it was a bloody masterpiece, MJF and Mystico. And that crowd singing that song, it's infectious. You just want to just be there. So my bucket list of wrestling venues, I have one left to tick off, and it's Arena Mexico. I need to visit one day. So I can't recommend that match enough from the 92 anniversary show. But yeah, I've been loving, like, I've not been liking WWE, but when you keep seeing people talk about, okay, did you watch the CMLL match and this and that? And even in this time of days, TNA match or a Ring of Honor match. And I go and check it out and be like, whoa, this was so good. And like the Bandito Hechicero match from a few weeks ago, but then now there's like this rematch that just took place this week as well. Like, it's been good stuff all over the map. That's not WWE. So wrestling is hot right now.
I didn't get to see the full show, but you said you caught a little bit of Collision. I did catch the beginning with Daniel Garcia finally giving Matt Menard some answers, and I thought this was done pretty well.
Yes, and then he shit on Nigel. Yeah. And what was even funnier about him bashing Nigel was Jon Moxley's reaction to
it. Was like,
Daniel
shit, okay.
Like, Jon Moxley stabs people with forks, burns them, buries them alive, whatever. But he thought what Daniel Garcia said was so dastardly that even he was like, yo,
or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, parasite like Nigel. And he's like, yo, bro, like, and if Jon Moxley, Death Rider era Jon Moxley, thinks that was pretty bad, then
even Nigel's face, which was like, wait, you're talking about me? What the fuck did I do? I really like this. I think this was a needed step in the right direction for Garcia, because I don't think the turn's been great so far. He's just felt like the last member of he feels below Utah. At least he has been since joining the Death Riders. And I don't particularly like the look with the shorts and the little boots and stuff, but finally like getting a bit of a payoff with the Matt Menard thing and calling him a loser, like me hanging around with you. Like, I love you. Like, you're great, but like, I don't win when I'm with you. And you're a loser. And that's all I see. And Matt Menard just doing his best, like, kicked puppy dog impression there. I thought that was really strong, and I like the tease of a Nigel Garcia feud. I thought we'd get that turn when Nigel had his match against Zack Sabre Jr. a while ago. And we'd be building to that, but it looks like that match is on the horizon.
Yeah, that's definitely where I would go. Would like go back to the night. I think they had some hiccups with this Daniel Garcia thing, but hopefully it can turn itself around and make him a bit more of a killer and more serious with the Death Riders and stuff. So I like seeing that. I'm trying to think of what else I watched from Collision.
Did you see Eddie Kingston took on Dralistico?
Yes, Eddie Kingston versus Dralistico. He's beefing with Sammy Guevara, who's with the LFI.
Yes.
You know, I don't watch Collision regularly, and then when I do just randomly flick through, Sammy Guevara is there challenging.
He joined them on Ring of Honor, though, I believe. So
okay, now
don't beat yourself up too much, not knowing the allegiances of Sammy Guevara and Rush.
Okay, I don't know how we're getting there, but I'll tell you, I will be seated. I will be watching Collision next week. I may have skipped through it this week a bit, but next week, Eddie Kingston versus Beast Mortos.
Okay.
And Kota Ibushi versus Josh Alexander. What the fuck? That should have been at All Out. Like that sounds awesome.
How was Eddie looking on this? Because he didn't look the best in that match we saw with Big Bill, but how did he look here against Dralistico?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't as. I feel like they've treated this return wrong. Like I feel like this guy is a bigger character than the way they're treating. Like you return to face Big Bill, who called you out randomly in a promo that didn't necessarily make sense. You come back, you have a match at the pay-per-view that was okay, and then now your feuds are on Collision. I just feel like there was a bigger and better way. I don't think he necessarily looked bad in the match, but
I agree, but I also think I didn't think he looked great against Big Bill, and maybe this is the right move. Like you can always he's someone kind of like a Joe where give him the right promo against the right person, you can heat Eddie up pretty quickly and the people are going to get behind him. But maybe like this is for the best right now if he's got a lot of ring rust. You know, he is older and, you know, not been wrestling for over a year. So maybe this is the best to just kind of get some easy reps under him before he's ready to move up. I agree. I think the bring him back was kind of fumbled a bit, but
yeah.
You put him in a big feud and then he has a performance like he did at All Out. It could hurt him a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like let's see what you can do while you're back and then put you in a bigger prominent position, I guess is maybe the thinking there. But yeah, I'm hoping it can come around for him because
like I feel Hangman Eddie does feel fresh. I can't think of a feud between the two of them, and I think that promo wise would be really good and could be a good opponent for Hangman down the line.
Yeah, that's really true. Something else from Collision is the Acclaimed are back together,
right? On they isn't Jerry Lynn now playing Billy Gunn or something like that?
So the Acclaimed have a match. Is it on Dynamite or Collision? I forget now, but they're gonna face the Jericho guys, but without Jericho.
Oh, Big Bill and Tony Keith.
And Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Toby Keith and Buffalo Bill are going to take on the Acclaimed on AEW this week. But they're not going by the Acclaimed. They're going by Anthony Bowens and Max Caster.
Okay, so they're not fully back yet.
It's funny. They're like, we're a few weeks ago, like pre All Out, they were probably like, we got this 6th anniversary show we could do up. Okay, cool. What tag teams have we built up in the last 6 years? Jurassic Express? Okay, let's have them come back. Okay, who else are homegrown tag teams? The Acclaimed? Okay, fuck it, bring them back too. So I guess it makes sense for them to put them back together at this point. So we shall see. But yeah, there's my review of Collision.
Interesting.
I'm really looking forward to next week's actually. Like those two matches.
Just both shows look great as well. Trying to think some other things that were announced. We got Orange Cassidy and Pac is happening at Title Tuesday with kind of
nice
promising no interference. They're like, hey, this is a rivalry that's been going back a long time. Yeah. I don't think Pac's had a match since he's returned, has he?
No, he just keeps coming out with that haircut and beating people up.
So bad. Trying to think of the other matches announced. We got that Mercedes match.
Yeah, like Title Tuesday looks awesome. What else would you see being added to WrestleDream? So far, there only is 3 matches announced, but so we got Darby and John Moxley in an I Quit match. We got Hangman and Joe. We got Statlander and Tony Storm. Now we're imagining fantasy booking here. Andrade versus Kenny Omega is added to this.
Andrade
show.
versus Kenny. I think Brodido versus, depending on injury, but Brodido versus Takeshita and Okada. Could you see Nigel versus Garcia at that show? It kind of fits the WrestleDream sort of moniker. Mercedes. Who could be a Mercedes challenger?
Saray?
Yeah. What else we got? Young Buck, FTR kind of aren't like FTR Jet Speed, I guess. They've been having a little collision feud, haven't they?
Yeah, sorry. I watched Kevin Knight versus Dax as well. And Kevin beat him, so I think they're continuing that.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. I don't know where the Bucks necessarily
Jurassic Express.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay.
Yeah,
we didn't kind of talk over that, but like Jack Perry kind of maybe showing remorse, like Kenny Omega being like, hey, let's fix this, but Josh Alexander attacking before that could happen. So I kind of like that Jurassic Express. They're not just like going right back to him being a literal jungle boy and back. They're kind of their newer gimmicks, but now back together and evolved. So I guess the Bucks match. Yeah,
you're saying the dinosaur evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
I just watched Jurassic Park the other day, so I love dinosaurs.
It's a good film.
I'm gonna try to watch all the way up to the new one.
Wow,
but we'll see how when I give up. After 3, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So there you go. That's all the AEW stuff. I wonder why they would pivot the Fletcher Kenny. Like clearly that was the direction, and I don't know if they're like Kenny's not ready yet, so let's put him in a match with Andrade is the right move. But like a Kenny,
I mean, Kyle Fletcher already like killed Adam Cole. Like we can't.
That's probably why they pivoted. They're like, actually. So like, I'm wondering when we do get that one, if Kenny like get too close to 100%, that would be the big one that we would go to. Like we've seen versions of it before, but now Fletcher versus Kenny, I think would be a really big pay-per-view banger. But we're gonna hold off on that one. Maybe Full Gear. We'll have to see. But yeah, WrestleDream taking some shape. It's looking pretty good. I'm interested in watching that in a few weeks.
Absolutely.
WrestleDream.
Shall we move over to a bit of WWE from this week?
Yes, more of a wrestle nightmare, so to speak.
I will start with something that I've been kind of enjoying, and this is the Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and
Love Story?
Kabuki Warriors Love Square, or whatever we've got going on with this week. Io getting the poison mist.
The blue mist. Io with her best acting when Rhea said it's either me or them. And she's like, I have to figure this out. We've all been there. I need some time. I need to think this over. I can't decide. And then her friends beat up her other friend. So she runs in to stop her friends when her friends spit blue poison mist in her face. Don't you hate when that happens?
This thing has had some of the worst acting ever in wrestling, and there's been some bad acting, but I think it gets a pass because of the people involved. And you know that we all know Kairi, Asuka, and Io, English is their not their first language, and I think the fact that they're even just trying this is commendable. And I think the characters are big enough that people are giving it a pass. That the acting is I was laughing watching this whole thing, but I can't say I'm not entertained, because I think matches that are going to be coming out of this are going to be good, and some of the better stuff we see on WWE TV, and you just like all the people. So I'm like, yeah, good for you. You're trying here. You're trying. And I appreciate that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Cause they don't usually do these kinds of storylines with Io, or they usually kind of play it safe, right? Like she's not done done a lot of this acting. So maybe it was a little jarring. I didn't necessarily hate it because you're absolutely right. It's like, well, at least they went like full send with it. At least they went full crazy with like the spit and the screaming, the poison mist, I should say. Where then I watch Cody and Seth, and it's the goddamn most boringest fucking feud rivalry. I don't even want to see you fight. Actually, I would pay money to see you stop fucking talking at this point. Whereas the other flip side, these women were doing something a bit more interesting with, like, you know, the allegiance to Asuka and Kairi and everything. So I hope it leads to, I imagine, a tag match, right? Io and Rhea, because it feels a bit Golden Lovers-esque with Rhea and Io Sky a little bit. Like they're definitely leaning into that on like their segments and social media, I think is picking up on what they're putting down. But I imagine it goes to that. Like I wouldn't see Io joining the Kabuki Warriors now. That just wouldn't make sense. She got spit in the face. So just like the dinosaur and the Dilophosaurus. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it was kind of weird seeing Io do over the top acting for me, but it hasn't necessarily been something she's done a whole lot of. So I do kind of give it a pass as well. But I did like seeing her get the mist in the face and like screaming and Rhea consoling her and everything. So yeah, tag matches, I guess, is where we're going with the, if they're not Golden Lovers, what would the ship name be?
You say the Golden Lovers thing because I'm just seeing a post Io Sky posted where the song she's attached is "Girl in Red, We Fell in Love in October," which I'm not familiar with this song, but
is it apparently,
sorry,
is it Taylor Swift?
No, the Girl in Red is the band, and We Fell in Love in October is the song, but it's a song that is widely associated with the LGBTQ plus community because its lyrics about falling in love are often interpreted as a sapphic romance. So like a same sex romance.
Everyone in the wrestling podcast internet world is talking about Nielsen ratings and TV ratings and wrestling ratings. The answer is clearly right here.
Yeah.
Io Sky and Rhea Ripley.
And I believe in a romantic relationship announced for Crown Jewel as well.
Sorry?
The match has been announced for Crown Jewel.
Like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a romantic relationship will fix all viewer ratings problems. I think my social media alone. Yeah. I don't know how many people or non-wrestling related meme pages post Rhea Ripley or posted this Io Sky getting blue misted in the face this week. So yeah, I guess we're all for it. I don't necessarily know. It would be a crazy swerve to have Io turn on Rhea after all this at this point, but crazier things in wrestling have happened. So but
it should happen down the line. I think they still like see Rhea as a huge baby face that they don't want to risk turning, but it fits right with the whole Rhea's never beaten Io. Yeah, like it should happen down the line at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's I'm definitely down on WWE at the moment for multiple reasons, but this Crown Jewel thing as well, like it's so hard to have you care of these champions versus champion stories. And we joke from that. I can't remember what WCW show we did, but a lot of it, especially the Stephanie thing we had on SmackDown is, you know, I like you, but I don't like you, and I respect you. And I respect you, Tiffany. Well,
let me tell you something.
Stephanie, and let me tell you, I respect you. We're doing this for respect. Yeah. And it's just like kind of hard to get into that. Like, I think Stephanie and Tiffany could have a great match. Like, both have been really good recently. And
yeah.
But I can't say the story is particularly interesting. And yeah, you said it about Seth and Cody. Like we know, we've seen their matches. Like they're normally pretty good when these two get into the ring with each other. But it's the vision stuff isn't really working for me, at least from a dialogue point of view. Like it's still like a load of
boring
nonsense. Like just like word, like garbage, like just being spilled out. And yeah, I don't really care too much about it. I think the match, again, could be really good. I think we predicted like a week ago, it's probably Seth. It makes the most sense for Seth to win this.
Yeah. I mean, Cody's won like that whole feud.
Yeah.
Seth never beat him in that feud. So it would make total sense to have Seth get at least one and get some steam behind him. Because, yeah, this has been a whole, I'm sure it will work out in the long run with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and whatnot. But it's boring. It's so boring. I watched this today and I was falling asleep. Like, this is the most interesting you could get. I know they're trying to be so like in between the lines with some of their stuff and trying to be, you know, some of the things they're saying are smart marky and all that stuff, but it's not working. It's not it. I'm not loving Seth with Paul Heyman and these guys. It's not been anything exciting whatsoever or creative or interesting. It's all of the anti things of it's just so boring. And I can't keep seeing the same thing over and over. And then Roman doing more of the bloodline stuff. Like, I just don't care about majority of the stuff that is happening on WWE. I try every time I like, okay, I'll watch the YouTube clips this week of Raw and SmackDown just to stay in the know. And I do, and I just dread it. I can't stand it. I feel like it's watered down stuff for like, this isn't what I like watching is the easy way to say it. I
think the problem I have with it as well, and that's why I really like the Paige Joe stuff this week is,
yeah,
you know, WWE, we had this, you alluded to it, the stuff with the Nielsen ratings, that they've changed the way they're calculating them. And it appears wrestling maybe isn't as popular as people thought it was. And these ratings aren't as high as people thought it was or whatever. But the thing I always think, you know, we've all gone through that thing. Anyone listening to this podcast who've told someone once that they like wrestling, and then you get it's first, oh, isn't that fake? And then just how many times you say all the time your girlfriend walks in when it's just something embarrassing and terrible that's on TV.
Yeah.
That's the thing. WWE, it's like, what's the saying about putting lipstick on a pig? Like, you can have this look as flashy as possible, your big LED screens, your huge sponsors, your big pyro displays, but nothing has changed from a creative side. It's still the same, like, tired, like boring, repetitive scripts that are coming out with nonsensical storylines or like lack of interest in the storylines paired with poor writing. And then even the wrestling, like, it's so watered down a lot of the time. That's not to say all the time, because you do get good wrestling in WWE as well. But you compare it to like that, you compare it to that Joe and Hangman stuff, which just felt real, felt like two guys who fucking hate each other and are pissed off and they're going to have a fight. I think that's way more compelling. And I think you're not going to bring in new people, and especially those people who've already had that formed opinion of wrestling, because you look at it and it's just the same it's always been, and a lot of it is pretty embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, imagine you took someone who doesn't watch wrestling or doesn't know anything about it, and you played them the Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes full segment. They would not give a fuck. They would not care. They wouldn't know half the stuff, and they wouldn't necessarily want to watch that match. If you played the end of that match with Hangman and Joe, right away people would ask you, "Is this real?"
You have people. Wait, was that meant to
part of the show?
Is these guys not real? Like each other? What? I thought they were on the same team. Like, why are they fighting?
Exactly. So that proves that right away of like the creativeness of how can we get people caring or talking or interested in this. And the way that they throw together champion versus champion, Cody and Seth. Okay, yeah, we've seen it before, but it's good. So it's like, okay, this should be good. It should be juicy. They tried pushing the WrestleMania 40 stuff, like, hey, you were my friend and this and that. Okay, I get it, but it's so paint by numbers. It's so scripted. I don't know. I it's really boring. It's really boring for me.
I do agree with Magan in the chat, who, like, I think some of the more interesting stuff has maybe been in the middle of the card. Like, I am enjoying the Americanos. Pete Dunne not in a singlet, like I was convinced it wasn't Pete Dunne for a lot of that match, especially with him working a luchador style. He's like a lot leaner than he used to be. Like he's pretty jacked and lean right now, but I didn't recognize him at all. But I am still enjoying Los Americanos. I think it's a fun gimmick, and I just find it hilarious that it's this German dude and two guys from Wolverhampton playing Americans who are playing luchadors. It's just ridiculous. And but I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of that. And on SmackDown, like Megan brings up, Los Garza versus Phoenix and Javon was really entertaining. And I think, you know, having Javon been up the last couple of weeks and just showcasing what he's capable of, like watching a match like that felt refreshing on WWE TV. And the Sami Zayn US title open challenge has been, you're guaranteed a solid match with Sami Zayn every week. And I think the opponents they've picked with, you know, Cena, Mello, Javon, and what we had Phoenix as well for a match. And this week, Aleister Black. I think they've picked interesting opponents against for him. And they've been highlights of these shows. But it's just a lot of the same problems where I feel we had that period, the honeymoon period, if you will, with Paul Levesque booking. And I think we saw a step forward with creative. You know, now we had this actual, to steal their word, universe where all these characters are living in the same universe. And okay, one of them might be a good guy now, but they still don't forget when the other good guy was a bad guy a year ago and stole a title match from them or whatever. And it just felt a little bit more attention to detail than we used to. And all that's gone out the window now. And it's right back to very Vince McMahon style booking.
Yeah. I like the open challenge with Sami Zayn. I like that they're trying certain other things, bringing in some of the NXT guys. I mean, Javon and Phoenix, that's awesome. But yeah, it seems like they've gone back to their old ways of, I don't know, a little lazy with, you're going to pay anyways. And then you're going to pay more money this time. And there might be less people in the crowd than the last time we came around. But you know what? It's because the price is even more expensive to go see these things. Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting it. I just can't get into this stuff. And I've really been trying. I'm like, okay, Seth and Cody. I'm like, yeah, let me sink my teeth into this. Let me watch this. I'm just like, fuck, this sucks. And then the Cena stuff, like the draw for Crown Jewel, 100% is AJ Styles and John Cena. Like that is a huge, huge match. I'm hoping it's just a banger and that everyone is like, oh, wow, look, Cena, like after the SummerSlam night too, it's like, okay, hey, maybe Cena's got some stuff left. And I'm just hoping it's such a good match. And maybe there's a chance we can do some redeeming of this Last Time Is Now tour because, wow, holy shit. But Cena's not going to be on Raw or SmackDown at all anymore, or is that the case? Or like what? Like how many?
Sorry, what's that?
So Cena has this match.
He's not on any more SmackDowns. No, he is on Raw. Yeah. He's got the MSG Raw and the show in Boston, I think, is a Raw now, right? And then the Washington Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, that's the last
Survivor Series as well. Crown Jewel, obviously. And yeah, I think that's it.
So he's got only a few Raw, then he's got a pay-per-view. Like, so yeah, he could potentially still have a few more matches.
I see him in the War Games match at Survivor Series, and I see that just being an announcement, and he's in it without any build. And then you probably have, you've got the MSG show, which will set up his final match, and I think there's one more Raw on top of that.
All right, so they're doing AJ now. Then what is his final match? What is Saturday night's main event? Is it The Rock? Is it the Smashing Machine? Is it Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like, what are we doing here? What is the match?
I mean, I'd say Gunther and Seth are probably the last two big names on the main roster that you haven't done, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like either of those are a bit of a, like, oh, okay.
Who else, though?
Yeah. I don't know. There's a few people like on the roster now, but they've been doing a bit of the greatest hits. So it's weird that they would then go back to just like Gunther or Dom people keep bringing up as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where we go with it. I'm like hoping for the best with this AJ match, and then the rest, I guess, is the rest. But yeah, it's been weird. It's been strange.
Anything else in the world of wrestling you want to touch on?
Shout out to WWE former 24/7 champion Bad Bunny. First 24/7 champion to host the halftime show at a Super Bowl. So that's awesome. Wonder if he'll wear the title. He did it Saturday Night Live a few years ago when he was champion.
I think Nikki Cross has to allow him to, right? She is still technically
the champion. Oh, wow.
Despite not dropping it in the trash at that time.
Oh, yeah, true. So Bad Bunny doing that. I think that's awesome. So I imagine we get some Canadian destroyers during the halftime show, possibly. And then what else did I see? I saw Edge. Cope is going to be in the Beekeeper 2. So Jason Statham versus Edge.
Have you seen the Beekeeper 1?
Yeah, of course. I talked about it on a show. I told you that.
Oh, you went to the drive-in for it, right?
Well, no, that's a Working Man. That is a newer Jason Statham movie, which I completely thought they were the same movie because when
they probably are.
They really are, dude. The first hour of Beekeeper is actually really good, and then it just takes a left turn that I don't know. I'm gonna be watching it though. Edge is definitely having a fight scene with Jason Statham. So definitely, Jason Statham loves to book. Like if you've seen the Transporter movies and any of these movies, he loves to book himself against like 5 big jack dudes at once in big fights, all shirtless, of course. So Beekeeper with Edge coming soon. I'm very excited about this. I'm waiting on that Money Plane too, but I guess
I don't think it's coming.
Kelsey Grammer's cashing in those Marvel checks, so we'll have to wait for Beast to return. I'm hyped up about that. The streets are saying we're getting a December Avengers Doomsday trailer. Like, very excited about that. So. There you go. That's all the stuff. Well, not all the stuff, but we have a lot coming up this week. I know Tuesday we're going to talk about Showdown, NXT, and TNA, and then next Sunday is Bound for Glory as well. So I imagine the following Tuesday we'll be talking a bit about the fallout from that and the Hardys and Dudleys, and maybe Trick will lose that TNA title. We will have to see, but appreciate everyone else hanging out with us, whether you were in the live chat. Appreciate everyone in there. I see Chris, Megan, a few people in there. Appreciate the love as always. And anyone listening on the podcast app, make sure you hit that subscribe, that follow, that 5-star review, whether it's Apple or Spotify. It goes a long way. And catch us Tuesday. And our Patreon is where you can find so many other shows, our Invasion 01 review, our Champ is Here, episode 12, and many, many more coming up in the month of October. So it's a great time to try. If you haven't, it's only $5. What could you possibly be waiting for? Go check it out. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 for hundreds of different podcasts at your disposal. So appreciate anyone who's checked us out and along for the ride. Thank you. Thank you. We'll chat soon on Tuesday. Absolutely. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And ribbit. Ahoy!